Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the Rap Music Plug at your service. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth album and song reviews, as well as artist interviews and general rap commentary sprinkled in between on all of what the mainstream and underground rap scenes have to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. What is up, family? I am the Rap Music Plug, and I'm here to talk to you about a hardcore underground hip-hop record that's been making waves recently, and that is Rome Streetz and DJ Muggs' record, Death and the Magician. Rome Streetz is an up-and-coming MC who I have seen pop up on some of the bigger releases over the past couple years in the underground and impressing me. Particularly Westside Gunn's Fly God is an Awesome God too. But also he's released some pretty solid projects that I've been pretty impressed with. I think it's been very clear since day one of me hearing his music that this guy can rap really well. But I don't know if he was someone that I would go back to all that often, because I really was waiting for him to put together an album that really impressed me and stood out from front to back. But now in 2021, Rome has his big moment to shine, because getting laced with a Muggs album collab is a high honor that has only been bestowed on the hottest names in the underground, such as Makami, The God Fahim, Rock Marciano, Planet Asia, Ito, and so Rome Streetz has all what he needs to prove himself and solidify his place in hip-hop. So DJ Muggs, the producer for this album, is a legend who was part of the famed rap group Cypress Hill and has since continued to add to this impressive production catalog, usually in the form of these full collab projects with underground MCs that he respects over the last handful of years. My favorite of these Muggs collab albums was probably 2019's Tu es le tout with Makami, or an album from quite a long time ago, Grandmasters with GZA of the Wu-Tang Clan. So I was really looking to see if this Muggs collab with Rome Streetz would not only compete with that Hami and GZA record, but more importantly solidify Rome's position as not just a talented MC, but an MC that can create great albums and deserves to be on my hip-hop radar. So starting with the production on this album, Muggs brings us a pretty standard set of beats for what I've come to expect from him. A lot of drums with these low-pass filters on them, sinister, dark textures throughout, and an overall warm production style that emphasizes the dusty nature of these beats. The production hits a high point at high explosive with a nice, soulful beat switch towards the end, and the following track, Zigzag, that has a great string-laden groove that is seemingly bit reduced into a really nice grainy texture. I really enjoy this bit reduction technique that is at least what I'm assuming he's doing, is something that Muggs consistently uses throughout this album that allows him to successfully incorporate some genuinely orchestral or very bright and otherwise ill-fitting sounds for a sinister, gruesome album like this, due to his ability to manipulate the samples and give them a necessary level of grit or dustiness. Examples of this, as I mentioned, was Zigzag, as well as the terrific horns on High Explosives, as well as the closing track that sounds sweet but don't feel out of place on this album whatsoever. I also love the keys on Devil's Chord. I heard this on a good speaker setup after previously just hearing this on my headphones, and the sub bass on this track is ridiculous. It really brings this track to another level. It's such a cinematic feeling that this track gives off. He did switch up his typical formula though on Shooting at the Dance Hall with a really energetic and chaotic sampling beat that really threw me off at first. I thought it was kind of messy, kind of seemed awkward, but after a few listens I really appreciated this change of pace, and Streetz kills this beat with a crazy catchy flow and drops some great bars. I think Muggs gave this album a sound that created enough diversity to sustain a very strong sense of momentum throughout the album without making it sound like it was lacking in cohesion. Overall, the production from Muggs was very in line with his previous collaborations of this nature, providing an interesting backdrop, but ultimately spotlighting the raps and potentially legitimizing the career of another up-and-coming MC. So the production on Death and the Magician was solid as hell, but we all expected that realistically from DJ Muggs. What we wanted to see is how the latest pairing with Muggs, Rome Streetz, would be able to do with the Muggs pack. And I'm happy to say that Rome Streetz accomplished exactly what he set out to do on Death and the Magician. Hunger is what Rome Streetz possesses in spades on this album. He really has this young and infectious hunger that comes across really nicely. This hunger gives these songs a strong sense of energy and urgency that keeps me engaged throughout the whole record. It also helps that Rome has a strong, fundamentally sound flow that allows him to pack in a lot of nice wordplay, and overall it's just so buttery smooth, it's so aesthetically pleasing, as he has great breath control, allowing him to put the proper emphasis on certain words and syllables, and makes his bars be clearly understood by the listener, even if he's rapping really fast and really intricately. Every verse is rapped here like it's his last verse he'll ever be able to spit. You can clearly tell that Rome understood the moment that was Death and the Magician and made sure that the lasting impression people got from this album is that this guy Rome Streetz can rap, and rap at a level that keeps up with the strong production of a legend such as DJ Muggs. Rome's strong flow also lent itself to some pretty damn good hooks, which I was pretty surprised by. He puts together a nice hook on Prayers Over Packages, and on the manuscript, he showcases such a addictive rhythmic flow on one of the catchiest moments on the album. Lyrically, Rome explores themes related to authenticity, related to his street background and his music career, his impressive work ethic, but mostly this album is chock full of street battle raps displaying Rome's very impressive multi-syllabic rhyme patterns, seeing Rome demand the respect he deserves. From track 1 to 9, this album was consistently great. But after that, it hit the only real bump on the road with Wheel of Fortune that had just an okay beat that seemed to sample some Bollywood-esque strings, but I didn't particularly love the beat, thought it was a little drab, and this definitely featured the least impressive rapping from Rome as well. But after that, it gets back on track because Fly Obnoxious is a super dope lyrical display with some great punchlines, showing off again those great multi-syllabic rhymes, such as, see these leeches try to bite the haiku, but it's light, alright, cool, they awful get mouth cancer trying to chew my food. This kind of intricate rhyme scheme is all littered throughout this album. On the closer, Fuck You Know About Me, I like how Rome extends his lyrical scope to touch on some more substantive, weighty topics as well, and I love the production here. It's buttery, soulful, jazz, and again it has these horns that are put again through one of those bit reduction like filters, making them sound so grainy. It ends the album off on a really high note. I love the swing to this song. A great strong closer. So in this 34-minute album, Rome spends the majority of this time just rapping his absolute ass off, showing a lot of lyrical gymnastics, nice punchlines on a very consistent basis, with some good features too from Knowledge the Pirate and Riggs along the way. It is straight to the point, highlighting Rome's lyrical abilities first and foremost. It doesn't try to do too much more than that though, and while that probably is the next step that I'd like to see Rome Streetz and other artists like him in this lane, to maybe give us some more pieces of himself personally, or take a more creative way to structuring songs, like some storytelling songs or some more conceptual tracks. That's just because it's my consistent preference. For those that have listened to the show for a while can clearly see by now. But at the end of the day, Death and the Magician still does exactly what it set out to do and doesn't fail at all. This duo executed their vision very well. I thoroughly enjoyed this album, and I highly recommend it to fans of street rap, especially those who like the boom bap golden age sound of the 90s with a bit more of an updated and dark twist to it. So since 2021 has been the year of really good music that just falls a little short of truly being great in my eyes, I give Rome Streetz and DJ Muggs' Death and the Magician a high 7 on 10. So this concludes today's episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV. I hope this episode gave you some fresh new perspectives on the latest rap releases, as well as a recommendation for the next great rap record to add to your collection. But now that I've spoken, it's your turn to have your voice heard. So let's stay in touch. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Rohview, ROHVIEW, to connect with me on a personal level, where you'll be able to interact with my thoughts and perspectives on music, surely, but also on politics and sports as well. If you're an artist who wants to get their new song or album reviewed on the show, hit me up via email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com, or just send me a DM on Twitter or Instagram. I would love to give you public feedback through a review, or private feedback if that's what you'd prefer. I would love to be a part of helping you grow as an artist, to help the show grow and ensure that everyone's listening to the best rap music at all times. Make sure you leave a review and rating on Apple Podcasts so that the show can be spotlighted by that wonderful algorithm and be exposed to more people. For exclusive content and updates related to the show, follow the Rap Music Plug podcast on Facebook. You can find all of this information along with exclusive playlists created by myself by clicking the link that's in the episode's notes. So that's all for today. Talk to you soon. Peace.